The headline reads, 65 killed, hundreds hurt in Coliseum gas explosion.
The night when a performance of the Holiday on Ice show turned into a Halloween horror.
4,300 people were watching Holiday on Ice at the Indiana State Fairgrounds Coliseum when faulty propane tanks were ignited by a popcorn maker underneath the stands.
All of a sudden, there was a terrific explosion, and a gas flame about 50 feet high roared into the air, and the bodies were laying all over the arena. It was the most horrible spectacle that I ever witnessed.
Emergency services spent days digging through the rubble searching for survivors. The city didn't have the means to handle a disaster of this size, so the ice rink was used as a temporary morgue until the bodies were identified by family members. In all, 75 people died and nearly 400 were injured.
When you were a young trooper, you said you were not even on for a year.
No. I was just a little over a year.
Just a little over a year, okay. You got a call for the Coliseum explosion.
Right, the Post sent me up there.
So, were you on duty when you got the call?
Yes.
And what did the call, how did it come in? Like, what did they tell you?
Well, they had me call them by phone, and they told me that there had been an explosion at the Coliseum, and that I was assigned to go up there and try to help them, if I could. And basically that night, we just were maintaining the scene, and it was scary. So
you were in Putnamville. It took you a while to get down to Indy, I'm guessing, then.
Yeah. Driving the speed limit I did not do, but anyway.
What was going through your head as you were on your way down there?
Well, I really had no idea. I just knew there was an explosion, so I didn't know what to expect.
Did they tell you that it was an accident, or did they know at that time anything about it?
Well, the Post told me there was an explosion there. That's the only thing.
That's the only thing.
That's the only thing probably they knew.
Do you remember when the call came in?
It was later on in the evening. I mean, it was dark, but I don't really remember the time. No.
So when you got to the scene, what did it look like? What was happening?
Well, it was just you could tell. I mean, it was a pretty severe explosion. I mean, of course, I didn't know at that time that it was a propane tank and that sort of thing, but there was sections of seat that were set in concrete. The seats were, the whole section, concrete and all, was tore out of the rebar, and one big section was blown clear out on the ice.
What did they task you to do when you got there?
Just maintain the scene, because they knew there was going to be onlookers and everything.
So how did you assist with the aftermath? Did you help with any of the investigation or anything like that?
Yes, a day later, well, like when Stan was talking about, they sent us up there in old clothes, and what we had to do was search what we could through the debris to find out any personal items and things that were there, and we were there 2 days on that. Yes.
How did you feel when you were there? What kind of emotions did you have while you were at the scene?
Well, it just the one emotion I had before that, my mother was supposed to be there that night.
Oh.
And so happened that another lady couldn't go, so she went a day earlier. So that was a relief off my mind. But of course, we didn't have cell phones back then, so I had to find a telephone to call her and see if she was home, because I didn't know that she wasn't yet involved in it.
Yeah.
But that was a big thing personally on my part.
Was the scene pretty chaotic still when you got there?
Yes, it was. Well, it was just mass destruction.
Did they know at the time when you got there what had happened, or was it still up in the air as to figuring out what the cause was?
They knew it had been an explosion. I don't know if they actually knew that it was a large propane tank underneath that south section of the rink or not. I don't know.
Did you assist with the cleanup at all of the aftermath?
The only thing I assisted with was when I was sent up there is to look for personal effects.
What was the most difficult thing you had to deal with while you were there?
Really, it wasn't a difficult thing. I mean, it was just a thing that we did, and there were several of us there. We were just going over it, and trying to where we could get under things and make sure there was anything there.
Did you have to deal with any questions, people trying to figure out what was happening?
No, because the public wasn't let in there as such. They were keeping it, so we didn't have that to contend with, like I'm sure it would be now, you know.
Yeah. How many different agencies were a part of this?
Well, the state police, the city police, the Marion County Sheriff's Department, and then the security then with the fairgrounds, which was a small force, but I mean they were there.
And was everyone pretty much doing the same thing, trying to?
Well, it was kind of a combined effort.
After the event, what was the public response to the explosion? Do you remember any of that?
No, I really don't. Somebody had said that they had smelt a little leakage of propane, but other than that, I don't know, you know. But of course, it was a mass explosion.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you remember from the event that you want to share with us?
Once we got assigned to the cleanup and then we were done, well, then I were done with it. You know, there was no more to be.
Were you interviewed at all after the event?
No.
Weren't part of the investigation or anything?
No, because there again, the upper brass took care of that, which there wasn't. As I said before, at that time there was only one, the superintendent and one major, and they handled all that.